H-Town, what it do? My name is Nick Stevenson.
And I'm Scara Kay. Welcome to Texans Bloodline.
Gara, as everybody can see, you're not in your normal studio. You are actually out on the open seas, well, nearly on the open seas, going on vacation with your family, but you decided to do Texans Bloodline anyway. I really appreciate that. And I get the feeling that the reason that happened is because of how exciting yesterday's game was. Tell
That
me how
is
you're feeling.
exactly. Oh my gosh, all the feelings.
Yeah.
Um, well, we went from being really down, right? And
Right.
then uh so I started watching the game maybe at the third quarter, I think.
Mhm.
And before that, I'm just getting the notifications on the score updates because I couldn't actually watch. And I'm clicking on it each time, being more and more disappointed each time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finally, I'm like, screw this, right? but then,
Yeah, you were
but then we
preparing to do another show after a loss at that
Yes,
point.
I was. I was preparing to be sad again. And but then I started seeing a little bit more momentum. And at that point I was able to actually get on. I did start the game from the beginning, even though it was still
Right,
live
right,
in
right.
the third quarter, just because I do
I
that.
feel you. Yeah.
Um but I'm still getting the updates. So as we're getting points, I'm like, wait, what game is this? Because it's not the one I'm watching.
Right. For sure. It's funny because we actually collectively watched the entire game because I was able to watch the first half and
That's
wasn't
funny.
able to watch the second half because I was at work. But when I turned it off, they were down by 13. I got a notification that they were down by 19, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna turn this game back on if I could." I'm like, "I'll watch it later. I'll get ready to point out everything they did wrong and talk about who's gonna get fired." And honestly, I would not have known they won the game. Actually, I had Rockets coverage yesterday, so I kind of started tuning into what was happening there because they started at about 2:30, and then I got a text message from my brother that says LFG exclamate like 3 exclamation points. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" So I turn on my phone and I kind of peek at the score, and it's 36 to 29. After, like I said, when I left, I think they were down like 20 to 10, and I know they were down by 29 to 10 at one point. So I was like, of course, I missed the second greatest comeback in franchise history because I'm at work. But I honestly, I wasn't even mad. This is my superstitious year. So I was like, should I not watch the second half of every game now? Because what's going on here?
It
But
does seem a pattern with the third quarter is when things start to happen.
yeah, for sure. And here's the thing for me is that when I was feeling, I got that feeling when I was like, "Man, I'm not gonna turn this thing back on." And I was like, "But what if I miss, like, a really big comeback?" And that's something as you become more and more of a Texans fan, you'll notice there's a lot of people in the stands who stayed. There's a lot of people who left, and the people who left probably are mad that they left, and I can understand why they left. I mean, you and I both were like, "This isn't gonna go well."
Mhm.
So, nobody really expected them to do what they did, I think, except for them, and credit to them for that. And
I
I
would
would
say
like to.
credit for them for keep trying, keep like
Right.
pushing.
Right, because football's a hard game to play, right? You gotta run into people, you gotta hit people, you've gotta get
Mhm.
hit, and, like, at some certain point, maybe this is just my flaw, like, if I'm getting my ass kicked, I'm gonna be like, "I don't think I wanna play hard anymore."
Yeah, you don't want to risk injury and then mess up your whole career because of a
Yeah,
game that was lost anyway.
it's hard not to think like that as a human being, but I think we've talked about this before, this team really does take on the personality of their head coach. Their head coach who was coaching this game with a heavy heart, former Texan Earl Cochran had passed away just a few days ago. Him and D'Amico Ryans were really good friends while they played for the Texans, but they go back even to Alabama when they went to high school together. Um, so I want to give credit to everybody on the Texans who participated in the second greatest comeback in franchise history. I want to know how you feel about it because I have mixed feelings. Because I can't ignore how I felt in the first half. Obviously, you have elation in the second half when you come back to win. I mean, the Texans saved their season. If they had gone 3-6 at this point in the season, they can kiss the playoffs goodbye. Now it's still a long shot, but their season is still, they have hope that they can possibly make the playoffs. How did you feel in the beginning, compare how you felt beginning to the end, and at the very end, like where are you landing on this team?
Well, I was appreciating Stroud more and more
Mhm.
as the game was going on.
For sure.
Um, Mills definitely kind of gained some respect back,
Yeah, for sure.
um, obviously. But yeah, was kind of like this again, like this, and the frustration of like there were some pretty good plays made,
Mhm.
and then the Jaguars had some really excellent plays again
Right.
and again. Um, and I know that a lot of my focus has been more on the offense than the
Of course.
defense. So I was still trying. I was trying to like focus on. I don't know. I had a hard time grasping why it wasn't working for the Texans this time, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, when you look at the score, you see the Jaguars scored 29 points. You think to yourself, "Oh man, the defense must have played really bad." But if you watch the game, that's not really how it was. So at halftime, the Texans are down 20-10, I believe. Uh, or it might have been 20-3. It's twenty
I
ten,
think it was
23 at halftime.
23 or 24-10, something like that.
Yeah. Um, but the Texans had actually outgained the Jaguars offensively. They had more rushing yards, they had more passing yards. Like offensively, at least in the statistics, they were playing better. The biggest problem for the Texans was those two really early turnovers. Um, the fumble of the kickoff return and then the interception by Davis Mills. Who credit to him, he threw a pick early. He could have gone in the tank after that, but he actually ended up playing pretty good. He had two throwing touchdowns and he ran in for the biggest touchdown of the game. So yeah, I'm with you. I do still have a great appreciation for CJ Stroud, but given the situation that Mills was put in, it's something about him and the Jaguars. He has a losing record against every team except for them. He's beat them three
Oh,
times. He's only lost to them once. So I guess it was the right time to have your first start of the season against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know where you land, but I'm having a hard time deciphering how much of this was the Texans being good versus the Jags just completely choking away this game. Because to allow somebody to come back from 19 points down in one quarter, I think the Jags only had like 2 yards of offense in the fourth quarter. Like the defense did
mhm.
their thing. Uh, the offense did not execute really until the fourth quarter. And so, and I know I feel like the offense put the defense in some really hard positions, which that's been a common theme this season. But I'm still
Well,
offensively, like I can't say I feel confident in this team yet.
yeah, and I guess we do have to recognize it was basically a whole new team on the field with all the
Yes,
injuries.
100%.
Um, so that was, that was a big consideration as I was watching. Um, and like I said, I'm not quite to the point I will say that I know ball,
Yeah,
but I was struggling to be like, I don't understand why they're doing so well and why we are not. Um,
yeah,
because I guess I think maybe I was recognizing that the defense was doing well, and yet still this was happening, you know?
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no, I mean, really, it came to that, and then for the end of the game, um, I was just too caught up in the excitement to kind of analyze at that point.
Yeah, you don't. And I feel you. Like you don't care. They won, so no, no, no. I get that. Um, I felt like I understand what you feel like. The defense is playing good, but we're down 20. Like, but I felt like it was, like I said, those turnovers did not help. I mean, the Jaguars got the ball in Texans territory back to back possessions because of turnovers. But the defense didn't allow touchdowns, and they kicked field goals in both of those. And like you said, penalty after penalty. I mean, if it weren't for the Texans defense doing what they did, the Jaguars could have had 40 points in the first half. And so, D'Amico Ryans always talks about complementary football. The first 3 quarters of the game, we did not see that. Then all of a sudden, special teams, defense, offense all starts clicking at the same time. But there is an element to this where the Jaguars, I mean, the Texans, and the last touchdown they scored, they got to the 2 yard line. Then they got a run for loss, back to back false starts that put them all the way back to like the 16-yard line. And then the Jaguars let Davis Mills, who nobody is going to pick him to be on their track team. Let's just put it that way. Davis Mills runs for a 16-yard touchdown on 3rd and goal, and more power to him. He made a great play. Woody Marks made a great block, and they all gave credit to one another. Like they pulled together, and that's I'm really glad you pointed out the injury part because yeah, they basically had a bunch of practice squad guys on the offensive line. You've got your backup quarterback in. That could have been a game that they came into and been like, you know what, man, we're probably going to lose, so let's not even play hard. So
Hmm.
here's my thing.
I don't,
I never go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Mark's. He's just. I think he's my new future ex-husband.
Yes, yes. Woody Marks is my favorite Texan this year because, and it probably for the same reasons that he's yours. Every time he touches the ball, something good happens. And I got a little bit worried because it looked like he got hurt for a second there. Um, but everybody toughed it out, man. And I never ever question, are the Texans going to play hard? Like,
Hmm.
are they going to give up? Are they going to play as hard as they can for 4 quarters? I never question that. That's never been the question about this team. I don't think the defense has been the question about this team. The question has always been, is the offense good enough? And as happy as I am that they won yesterday, I don't know if that question is answered yet.
I think they are. We talked about this that at one point before we lost Stroud for a bit. It At one point it just kind of clicked, and you could
Mhm.
see the difference. But if we're not going to play with that same team, then we don't know what we're going to get every week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. And yeah, this you go from the 49ers, who we all agree is a good team. The offense looks great, and the offense looks terrible against the Broncos. And I mean, in the Broncos game, it's not really fair because CJ gets hurt. But in the Seahawks game, they don't look great. And then for 3 quarters, they don't look great. And then they look amazing in the 4th quarter. So the good news
I
is
was
that go ahead.
I was really bummed that we couldn't talk about last week's game too.
Yeah, no, I understand, and that's somewhat on me as well, but
No, it's
we're
on
back
both of
on,
us.
and we're consistent, and, we'll be here for the rest of the season, and thank goodness there's still a reason
A
to
season.
start talking about next season. Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited about this game because actually the next 2 games are against opponents that the Texans should beat. The Titans are not good. The Cardinals, not good. So all of a sudden, you start playing Indianapolis, who is the hottest team in the NFL right now, and they're in our division. I think they've only lost 2 games.
Nick, I'm gonna need you to knock on wood, because thank
Sorry.
you.
All I'm saying is you start to feel excited about the prospect of the next few games because they should be winnable. Hopefully, CJ comes back. If he's not able to, hopefully, maybe this game gives Davis Mills the confidence he needs to keep leading this team to victories. But all of a sudden, you get a couple of more wins. You win, 3 in a row. Now you're feeling really good going into those division games. And the Texans aren't going to win the division, they're too far behind.
Hmm.
However, there's still a chance they can make the playoffs. They're in the hunt now. And if the Jaguars keep doing what the Jaguars are doing, which is, I think they've lost 3 out of their last 4 games after starting out
Ooh.
really hot. So I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But we have a watch party going on at timeout number 3. And if anybody wants to come out there with us on the 16th, I'm not gonna lie, at halftime I was a little bit worried about that watch party. I was like, who's gonna come watch this team? Why would anybody show up? But we still
Well,
have a good
now.
time out there. Yeah. And shame on me for saying that. The football gods humbled me for sure. Um, all right. So you talked about all of your emotions in the game. Were you able to check out the post game speech?
I wasn't. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure we were able
No,
to
it's
hop
cool. Yeah, yeah,
on.
for sure. Uh, Take a look at it later. The game ball went to Davis Mills for on the offense, and it went to Daniil Hunter, who had an amazing game, 3.5 sacks. Um, we've been
Can I
looking for
point
him.
out? Can
What's
I
that?
point out that
Yeah,
Hunter and Hutchinson were my two like pre-season
they
watch
were.
fours?
They were. And
Just
we all
saying.
know, yeah, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And we all know how good Daniil Hunter is, but we haven't been calling his name a whole lot recently.
Mhm.
And so the fact that he broke out in the this could be I'm knocking on wood, but this is the type of game that in seasons past, you've seen teams who get hot at the end of the season and take that momentum and roll it all the way into the playoffs. There's always that one pivotal moment, like that moment where all hope seemed lost. They were dead in the water. And then all of a sudden it switched just like that. I'm not saying that that's going to be what this is, but it could be. And that would be amazing, especially for you following this team for the first time to be able to go through all the lows and the highs in the same season. I'm rooting for it. I want it to happen so much.
Well, I'm watching the game, so I finished watching it as we're sitting at the window of the cruise ship,
Uh-huh.
and and on the way here. So I'm finishing watching it, and my husband goes, "Are you going to be that kind of football like watcher or whatever?" I don't know how he phrased it, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, well, you have something to say, or you're going to react to everything that happens."
100.
I'm like, "I guess I am."
Oh, please, you got to start recording yourself doing that. Like that is, I'm telling you, Ruben's live stream was it, I would have paid money for the amount of entertainment I got watching his live stream, especially at the end. Because credit to him, he could have shut the thing off. He did it through the entire game, and to watch his excitement grow and grow and grow, and I mean, he was living and dying on that last possession. And like it got to the point, like I said, I wish you guys could watch it. He just started laughing hysterically at the end. He literally, somebody even commented, "Bro sounds like the Joker." It was just this hysterical laugh of someone who just went through the most happy and terrible time of their life all at the same time. And I think that's how a lot of Texans fans feel. So going through those emotions, like how would you gauge, your Houston Texans fanhood right now?
I'm still at that solid 7.
Okay.
I'm encroaching on an 8 after this game because well, I do react to everything low key, but I also talk to them. I'm like, "Why'd you do that?" Like, "Can you dude,
Yes,
you know, a
yes.
lot of it a lot of it was if Stroud had thrown that, they would have caught it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It would have hit them. You know what? I think I need to comment on this for a moment because there were so many times we should have gotten a touchdown
Mhm.
if the ball had been appropriately thrown.
Yeah, for sure. And
So,
I
yeah.
think I think that's frustrating more when that happens when your starter's in there. When your backup's in there, you're like, "Oh." And you understand, like, man, if that was Stroud, like you
Mhm.
said, you're talking like, "Oh, man, Stroud would have made that throw," right? But once again, I mean, I don't wanna take anything away from Davis Mills. I don't want him to be the starter of there's believe it or not, there's people out there already saying, "See, we should have started Davis Mills all season long."
I don't know about that. See,
That's
and
crazy talk.
that's why I'm careful with how I say the things, like, because he's still doing a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I don't dislike him as a quarterback, but I do
yeah,
have appreciation for Stroud.
yeah, for sure. Like, you need a guy that you can trust in a pinch, can come in a game, maybe 2, and keep you competitive. That's all you can really hope for from a backup quarterback. And I think that
Yeah.
Davis Mills has done that. The Texans have re-signed him to contract extensions multiple times. I think they like him as their backup. He was a starter from his rookie season. He started, I think, 2, 3 seasons for the Texans. So he does have that experience. It's not winning experience because he's only won, I think, 6 games in his entire career. But 3 of them came against the Jaguars. So I say we put him in at some point in every Jaguars game, and I think they'll be okay.
Right. And,
But
I also enjoy, he Mills is, I don't just so flat, and, like, Stroud, you can see how he feels on his face, and you can
yes,
see the determination, you can see
yes.
the lack of, it just makes for an interesting game for me.
That is a very good observation by you. Mills has a poker face. You
Mhm.
have no idea what's going on in his head. He could be furious, he could be happy, and you wouldn't know. CJ does wear his emotion on his sleeve a little bit, and there's some people who criticize him for that, but me personally, I like knowing that when things aren't going well, I wanna know that you're upset about it, but I don't wanna feel like it's making you fall apart. So, I guess there's,
Mhm.
like, a balance there, right? Let me
Yeah.
see on your face that you're not happy, but have that look be more of determination rather than defeat.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
And
don't
I think,
hate the look on the faces.
of course, there's a lot of handsome gentlemen on the team as well. So going forward, I think we're gonna get CJ back next week. The Titans are at the bottom of the division. You can't, especially in the NFL. There's this term. It's called any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, anybody can win a football game. All of these people are professionals. You hope the Texans would not overlook this team, maybe have a little bit of a hangover from all the emotion of this game. What you hope going forward is they continue to build on what they're doing, and take care of business. Like I said, for me, I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe uh, this offense has figured a couple of things out. I want to give Nick Caley credit because we bash on him when the offense doesn't look good. I mean, he called a very good fourth quarter. Um, I feel like the Texans have problems with execution. You talked about the penalties. Penalties almost cost them the last touchdown of the game, but some way, somehow, they just kept fighting, and that's what D'Amico said in his post game speech. It was like a prize fight. They just kept swinging and kept throwing haymakers and punching and punching and punching until they finally got that knockout punch at the end. And I think it was really fitting that the game ended on a defensive play because the defense really deserves the credit for this win. Because, like I said, Jaguars could have had 50 points at halftime with the way that the offense was playing, but to do what they did in that fourth quarter and to limit this team, who they move the ball pretty well and they're a pretty decent offense, to hold them to, I think they only had 119 total passing yards for the entire game. So I can't say enough about this defense. Derek Stingley Jr. with an awesome one-handed interception, and he's playing hurt. Uh, if they can clean up the penalties and just be middle of the road on offense, I'm telling you, this is a playoff caliber team. And I want to
Well,
see.
and those penalties, see, that was another issue I had. Like, that I have a problem with penalties
Mhm,
when it's the things like the helmet holding. It's just very um intentional penalties is what it feels like.
right.
This didn't feel the same. It felt like I had to look at the replays to even see what they saw.
Yeah.
Which it's like not a, of course we don't want penalties, but they're the kind I'm okay with. There were just
Yeah.
so many again and again and again.
Yeah. And I thought there were some bad ones too. They called a taunting penalty on Kamari Lassiter, uh, because he celebrated a hit. I'm the type of coach, and listen, I don't coach the Texans. I don't want my team celebrating and showboating when we're down by 19 points. Like, get back in the game first. Like, do your job. To me, if you make a tackle, that's good. That's what you were supposed to do. But I'm not the coach of the team, and whatever they do to motivate themselves, that's their business. But I just overall, we're at the point of the season where, like I said before, I want you to experience this team in the playoffs. I don't want to have to start watching college football to find out who the Texans are going to pick in the draft. Uh, I mean, I like college football, but I'm not a huge college football watcher. I don't have like one particular team that I really am particularly interested in. But I literally said to myself at halftime, like, I'm gonna have to start watching college football and figure out who the Texans are going to take in the first round. And maybe this saved me one more week of not having to do that. I really hope so. But the Texans are in a good spot. Um, they went from worst case scenario to best case, honestly, at the flip of a hat. So I'm really excited about that. And Karen, I want you to get Texans playoff ball. And okay, in the midst of you watching this game, were you ever able to scope out any of the butts? Anybody stick out to
Yes.
you, literally or
So
figuratively?
for the longest time, okay, so the one kept sticking out to me, but I was mad because it was a Jaguar booty.
Ah,
No, we're Tushy, right?
tushy, sure.
Um,
Whatever you want
and
to say.
s-
We'll figure it out.
so, so, I was like, I need to find another butt. um, but since they lost, then I'm giving it back to number
Okay.
44, Walker. I
Yes.
know he was a little problematic, but he had a nice little tushy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's a good player too. He's a good player too. Um, I feel like that's very kind of you to give them the mercy tushy of the week. Like,
'Cause
go
they got
home
their
with
tushy
something.
handed to them.
Yeah, go home with something. I mean, that's a really embarrassing loss for them, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know if you saw the head coach, they showed his reaction to that last play. He just threw his headset on the ground and threw his folder and walked off,
Yep.
and, I mean, that's I can't understate this. This is the type of game, whether you win it or you lose it, that could really this could be a turning point in the season for either of these teams. This could be the straw that breaks the camel's back on the Jaguars and has them go into the tank, and it could propel the Texans. But we just there. I know what D'Amico Ryans is going to say. He's going to say, "Celebrate this win now, and then we move on. We take it a game at a time," and that's the right way to do it.
I'd like him to say, "Let's use it as motivation."
No, 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 for sure. I think what he did
And
say is, "Let's." I hope it's a springboard, um,
yes.
moving us forward because obviously you want to go back and look at the things you did well. Um, but at the same time, I know his mentality is like one game at a time. You know, he's not going to start talking about playoffs or anything like that. We get to talk about that because we're fans and that's what we want.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to say, "Hey, let's go beat the Titans," and that's what I want them to do. So on November 16th, Texans versus Titans. That is an afternoon game. Once again, I will be out at timeout number 3 if you guys would like to come join me and my good buddy Corey Morris, aka Corey Mixed It. Uh, Scara, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful cruise. Are you going to be gone
Thank
for
you.
5 or 7?
5. 5, I think, is enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did 5 and I did 7. 7 was okay. I was a little bit worried that it was going to be too much. But I it's probably because one of the days, because of weather, we were not able to get off, and I
Oh,
was like actually took that as a rest day. Because if we had gone on port and done all the running around and stuff, that 7 days might have been a little bit too much. So,
I wanna do the 7 days because I really wanted to go to Jamaica.
yes,
Guess
that's
it's
where
a
we went.
good
It was
thing that I guess the good thing that, I didn't choose the 7 days after what just happened.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, for
So,
sure. But hey, listen, the Texans have hope. The Texans bloodline, we're gonna be here whether win or loss. We're gonna be here. We're gonna keep cheering for
we
this team.
you know what, Nick? We might have to find us a college team that we, continue this podcast on,
Possibly. Let's
that we can both
more knocking.
bloodline that team.
Yeah, yeah, more knocking. I mean, I would love to root for the Houston Cougars.
That's what I was
Um,
gonna say, UH. I would choose UH.
yeah, yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I mean, we can start paying attention.
Let's
I don't know if
talk.
the Cougars have anybody who's going to help the Texans, but uh, right now I'm really really keeping the optimism alive that this Houston Texans team still has a chance to turn things around. And what I hope is helping you fall in love with this team is that they've stuck together despite the fact that they've gone through all of this controversy. And
You
you
know what's
might
help
get go ahead.
it's, the, I think I said this last episode we did. I know the players now and I recognize the names and I feel like I know how they play or how they should play.
Mhm,
It's I have that investment now.
for sure.
So I think I
In your blood.
am thoroughly invested
It's
in
in
the
your blood.
Texans.
I love it. I love it. That is all we can ask for. And what I hope is that you get to experience basically everything I experienced in 20 years of watching this team. I hope you get to experience it all in one season. Like
Sounds good.
feeling like it's over, you're never going to win, and then all the way to making the playoffs and, whooping some tail in the playoffs.
Well, we got
Uh,
half of it, so
we got half of it. We're almost there. Let's keep getting stacking those wins. I want to remind you guys to please follow Scara at Scara K on Facebook and at Bad Teacher Tales on Instagram. Go ahead and shout out Bad Teacher Tales. I know that you should be dropping at least 2 new episodes pretty soon, right?
yes, I know. It's been one thing after another. COVID put me back again, but
Yeah,
yes, eventually we'll have some YouTube and our next season out or starting to come out. But Bad Teacher Tales is a podcast where I collect stories from educators and I share them anonymously. All the good things that happen in the classroom.
for sure, for sure. So if you're a teacher out there, you need to get some things off your chest. Hit up Scara at Bad Teacher Tales on Instagram. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that for sure. You guys can find me at Houston Sports State of the Union. If you're watching this show, you're already on that YouTube channel, so please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Trying to get those subscribers up and support all of the projects there. We've got Texans Bloodline, Twin Toros, Houston Sports State of the Union, and hopefully maybe even be having some more people join the team. It's been really fun, Scara. I'm glad you. Thank you so much for doing this, even though you're on vacation. Please, your husband and your son, tell them thank you so much for letting us borrow you for a few minutes. And go Texans. I don't know what else to say.
All right, baby bulls. See you next week.
Absolutely.